Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll show you a thriller film, The Panic Room. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. The Panic Room is a movie that will give you a lot of chills, nail biters, and jump scares. It would also make you fear for your safety and make you wish that you have a panic room at your own house. I believe that this movie caused paranoia to everyone who watched this and increased a lot of sales in home security products. Notice how the movie creatively tours us inside the house with eerie camera pans. This is not for the faint of heart, but if you enjoy that kind, this movie is perfect for you. Watch out for scenes with a lot of blood and gore and prepare yourself to be frightened. This film reminds me of Home Alone, but more on the creepy feeling of strangers breaking into my home and made me fantasize about creative ways of defending myself. If by any chance this happened to me, this might spark creative ideas that will help us protect ourselves when this unfortunate event comes. Without further ado, let us proceed to the film. Meg, a single mother, and her daughter Sarah look for a new home. Her friend escorts her to a beautiful mansion-like house in the middle of the city. The salesman introduces them to the house. He walks them through what they call a parlor room and living room. Sarah is seen using her scooter and seems to pay attention to the tour. The salesman shows them the elevator and brags about it. He continues to tell the story of the previous owner. The friend convinces her that she should immediately make an offer because she feels they hit the jackpot on this one. The salesman tours them around and asks what she is doing for a living. She replies that she is planning to go back to school. The salesman shows them the master bedroom. As they continue to admire the property, the salesman asks them to reprimand Sarah. Meg notices the room to be smaller than it should be. The salesman shows them the panic room. They go inside the panic room and Meg looks around. The salesman tells them that the walls are concrete. The telephone connects to a different line from the main one, the security cameras all over the house, the proper ventilation, and many more features of the panic room. He closes the door of the panic room. Meg seems to panic and tells him to open the door. He opens the door and Sarah is outside. Sarah claims the room to be hers. Meg believes that the door is hazardous, but the salesman proves her wrong by showing the laser motion detector feature of the door. The salesman successfully convinces Meg to purchase the property. Meg and Sarah move into the house. Meg hooks up the phones in their living room and shows them to Sarah. Sarah sarcastically congratulates her. Meg asks for the number and she orders pizza. The pizza arrives and they eat their dinner. Meg seems to not appreciate their first night in the house with pizza as their dinner. Sarah says she likes the pizza. Sarah comforts her mom by cursing. Meg pours soda for Sarah. They get ready for bedtime as they reminisce about their old home. Meg plans for a bookcase in Sarah's room. Meg forgets to set up Sarah's tour for her new school, but Sarah tells her that her dad already accomplishes the task. Meg gets water from the refrigerator and puts Sarah to bed. Sarah complains that it is too dark in her room. Meg turns on the light in Sarah's closet. Meg goes out and carries a box from the hallway. It starts raining with thunderstorms. Meg continues to unbox their things. She pulls out a charger and a photograph from when Sarah is still a baby. Meg plugs in her charger and charges her phone, and she fixes her bed. There are pillows and blankets in the panic room. A blanket blocks a laser from the motion detector. The camera pans and gives a close look at the details of the huge house. Meg cries in the bathtub while drinking wine. Meg studies the security functions of the house and tries it. She successfully turns on the security cameras. Meg falls asleep as the rain continues to pour. She leaves her wine glass on her bedside as she dozes off. A stranger from outside tries to open the main door. He tries to open it with his key but fails. Another man tells him to go in the back door. He tries opening it but fails for the second time. He climbs up to the emergency stairs and tries all of the doors that he encounters. He goes to the roof and opens a hatch. A security pad triggers Meg's bedside, but Meg is sleeping so deep. Burnham successfully goes inside the house and starts exploring inside. He is in shock with the night light that he is looking at. Meg wakes up and drinks water from her bedside. Man sees Sarah sleeping and he closes the door. The man sees Meg sleeping. Meg is now awake, but is facing the opposite direction. Burnham goes down and lets his crew inside. Raoul is joining their heist without his permission. Seeing Meg and Sarah's belongings in the living room puzzles his partner. He updates them that there are people inside the house. It is not according to their plan. Burnham blames Junior for failing to plan properly. Junior tries to defend himself by explaining that the mother and child were not supposed to be here in another week. The man tries to back out of their heist, and the partner convinces him that they can still handle this and continue with the plan. The man argues that Meg's husband might come home, but his partner explains their dad is now banging another woman. His partner asks Raoul if they could still do this. Raoul agrees, but the man refuses to continue the heist. Meg gets out of her bed as the strangers continue to argue. The man asks if Meg has a gun. Raoul shows his gun. Meg turns on the lights in the panic room. The partner continues to convince him to continue the heist and reminds him of what they could get when they go along with the plan. The man tells them that they might be in prison for felony and kidnapping if they continue. Junior admits that he fucks up with his planning, but that does not change the fact that there are still $3 million in the house, and nobody knows it except for the both of them. His partner reminds him that he needs the money for his children. The man commands them to kill the phones. Meg goes to the bathroom. The burglars hear her as she flushes the toilet. Meg goes inside the panic room and sees the three men. One stupid man accidentally kicks a ball. Meg immediately runs to Sarah and wakes her up. She pours water into Sarah's face and they continue to run. Raoul sees them and they run to the elevator. Sarah asks her mom what is happening. The burglar chases them as they go down in the elevator. Sarah teaches her mother how to use the elevator, and they press the button for the floor of the panic room. When the elevator opens, they sprint to the panic room. They go inside the panic room and close the door immediately. Junior pounds the door in frustration. He breaks the mirror. Raoul says that it would bring him 7 years of bad luck. Junior flips the bed and Meg's phone falls under it. Burnham angrily asks Junior if the mother and child are inside the panic room. Meg tries to use the phone inside the panic room. She remembers that she forgets to hook it up. They try to regroup and replan. Junior gives Raoul a gun. Meg and Sarah sit inside the panic room and wait. Meg asks Sarah if she is shaky or has chills because of her diabetes. Sarah tells her mom not to worry. The burglar continues to roam around the house and worries they might get in trouble as they have a phone inside the panic room. Burnham says that the phone is not connected. He would know because he works at Manhattan Security. Meg uses the pager to tell the burglar that the police are on their way to the house. The burglars call their bluff. Meg tells them to take what they want and leave. Junior writes and tells them that what they need is inside the panic room. Meg tells them that they will not get out and that they should go out of their house. Burnham tells how they built the house to keep away burglars. They continue to plan to get Meg out of the panic room. Burnham screws all of the doors in the house. Meg and Sarah could see this from the security cameras. Raoul uses a sledgehammer to go inside the panic room from below. Burnham sees the propane tank. Meg and Sarah scream help to their neighbors. Burnham takes the propane upstairs and makes a hole. This hole connects to the ventilation inside the panic room. They connect a hose from the tank to the hole and let the gas out. Junior and Raoul ask them to open it more. Meg and her daughter started coughing. They breathe in the little hole in the floor. Meg tapes the ventilator shut, but it still opens up. Meg gets lighter and gives her daughter a fire blanket. Burnham argues that they should turn the gas off, but Raoul refuses. Meg lights up the ventilator, the gas explodes and burns Junior. Sarah gets a flashlight and sends Morse code to their neighbor. The neighbor wakes up to find them screaming for help, but the neighbor shuts off his blinds. Raoul tells Junior that he wants a third of the share, and Junior angrily agrees. Sarah notices that the burglars went down. Meg goes out and gets her phone. The burglars realize that she has a phone inside. The phone cannot get reception inside the panic room. Meg looks for the mainline wire and she improvises to connect the telephone in the panic room. She calls for 911, but she is put on hold. She calls her husband, and she does not finish her sentence. Raoul sledgehammers the breakers in the basement. Sarah became dizzy and hungry because her blood sugar was dropping. Junior problematically calculates and offers Burnham some money. Burnham and Raoul realize that there are more than $3 million inside the safe. Meg continues to look for sugar inside the panic room. Junior confirms that more money is inside the safe, but it does not matter now because they cannot get it now. Raoul kills Junior. Sarah sees this through the security camera. Steven shows up at the door and Raoul strangles him. Burnham is about to go outside, but Raoul stops him. Steven gives his wallet and shows his identity to the burglars. Burnham shows Steven's license in the security camera and forces Meg to open the door. Sarah's blood sugar goes down and she begins to have a seizure. Meg looks at the security camera and sees Burnham carrying what looks like Raoul. She goes out to the panic room and sees what looks like her husband, but this is Raoul in his husband's clothes. Meg goes to the refrigerator and gets the insulin for Sarah. Burnham goes inside the panic room and sees Sarah shivering. Burnham gets his tools for the operation. Meg runs to the panic room and sees the burglars inside. Raoul strangles Meg, throws her away, and runs to the panic room. Meg throws the insulin to the room before Burnham closes the door. Raoul's hand gets stuck on the door. Raoul leaves his gun, and Meg gets it. Meg asks them to give Sarah the insulin shot. Burnham asks Meg to go down, and she follows. Burnham opens the door, and Raoul freezes his hand. Burnham gives the shot to Sarah and tells Meg that she's going to be okay. Burnham starts to drill the safe. Meg gives the gun to Stefan. Police show up at the front door. Meg signals that she's going to handle the situation. Meg talks to the police and tries to put them away. The police tell her to send a signal by blinking. She does not blink, and the police go away. Meg starts hammering the security cameras, and Burnham opens the safe. Burnham gets the bank bonds from the safe. They count $22 million in bank bonds. They proceed to get out of the panic room. Raoul uses Sarah as a human shield. Meg waits for them to come out. Stefan aims the gun at Burnham and demands to let his daughter go. Meg sledgehammers Raoul and Burnham to flee the building. Raoul gets up, and Stefan shoots Raoul. Raoul strangles Meg, and Sarah attacks her with injections. Raoul is about to sledgehammer Meg's face, but Burnham shoots him in the head. Police officers show up at the scene and arrest Burnham. Burnham surrenders, and the bank bonds fly in the air, and that ends the heist. At the end of the movie, Meg and Sarah hang out in the park, holding a newspaper and finding another simpler house. This is Daniel's CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your fun for today.